All right, this is Chris Jarvis and Kat Fobear with the Quistery Project, and we are here with the indomitable Eddie Enos. So, Eddie, when did you first know you were gay?
When I started high school, I thought I was the only one. And then I ran into people that were so much more obvious than I was. And I was drawn to them, and they were very, very friendly. So we started hanging around. I was a freshman, and they were all juniors and seniors.
What do you mean they were obvious?
Limp wrist, swish.
So effeminate.
Very feminine.
Okay.
And what year was this?
This was 1964.
In Fresno?
Selma.
In Selma.
Selma.
So, of course, nobody was out as a gay person.
Nobody knew the terms, and until I saw as many as I did, I felt like I was saved. I felt like I had walked into a whole nother world.
So you knew they were gay, even though they didn't publicly say they were gay. Just like all of us at that age, we could spot each other, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what happened after high school?
Well, during high school, Rick and Augie, some friends of mine, got fake IDs, and they got me a fake ID, so I was 16 going on 22.
Uh-oh.
And the first gay bar I went to was the Orange Ogre.
Tell us where the Orange Ogre was.
The Orange Ogre was on Van Ness and Tuwala.
So downtown.
Yes, downtown.
Okay.
Where it's now a sheriff's building.
Okay. Well, that's exciting too. But what was the bar like? What kind of a bar was it?
It was very dark and very long. Everything, the windows were blacked out. When I walked in, I thought I was walking into an alley. But then once you got there, they had Christmas lights everywhere. And that was the lighting that we had to look at people.
Right.
Once you got in with your ID, nobody really knew how old anybody was.
So were the windows blacked out for safety? Because,
yes.
Yeah.
And then we parked in a parking lot or on the street, and there was another bar called the Crimson Castle.
That was never heard of.
Upstairs. No, that was a straight bar.
Oh, okay.
And it was upstairs right above the Orange Ogre.
So there was a gay bar on the first floor and a straight bar on the second floor.
Yes, and we were right next to the alley.
Okay.
I mean, when you walked out of the alley, you turned, and the first door was a gay bar. The second door was a straight bar upstairs. So the minute, if you had to walk upstairs, you knew you were you knew you were in the wrong bar.
Did the patrons from those bars ever clash?
They never clashed, but they had live bands, and they had my cousin was playing at one of the bands, and when I was in drag, I met him downstairs when they had a break. I met him downstairs, and he didn't recognize me. Thank God. We took pictures together, and not until 25 years later, when I did his wife's hair, did I tell him, you met this Mexican girl that had long curly hair. And I showed him the picture, and he goes, yeah. He goes, she disappeared on me. And I said, yeah. I said, so I went like this and showed it, and he goes, I don't believe it.
Oh my God.
So that was, it was different then because we didn't do the makeup that we do now. Then it was real eyelashes, foundation, if anything, eyeliner, and lipstick, and that was all.
Yeah.
I didn't have a beard to shave, so that helped. And then I had long curly hair. Ricky was a hairdresser, so he just put a hairpiece on the back of my head, so I had long hair.
And would you guys wear dresses or just do?
No,
not even a dress, just the.
I was in men's clothes, and I had a bra on, and I had my white tennis shoes, my stretch Levis that had just come out in '65. Stretch Levis weren't popular; they were for women. Uh-huh. And then that summer it came out for men. Every gay person I knew wore them, with white tennis shoes and a white T-shirt and a jacket. We had those little thin vinyl jackets.
Yeah.
And everybody wore them, and it was like looking at a fashion show when you would walk into the bar, because that's what everybody wore. A few people had colored T-shirts, but if you wanted to be in and stylish, you had a white T-shirt and Levi's and your white tennis shoes.
And this is what year again?
65, 66.
Okay. So was the Orange Ogre a dance bar was there a
No.
dance? No dance.
It wasn't a dance bar.
Okay.
It was a strictly, we used to call it a beatnik club because that was when beatniks were popular.
Right.
Whenever I would speak about it to other people, I would just tell them that I went to this beatnik club because I was so excited to tell people that I knew, but then I told them that it was an underage club because I didn't want anybody to know that I had a fake ID.
So it wasn't really an underage club. You just had the fake ID that
Yes.
allowed you to get in. So they served liquor.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. Just no
They
dance.
served liquor, and that was the first time I'd ever seen a drag show. And the drag show was a vacant room above the bathrooms. The performers had to climb a ladder to get up to it. And they would perform, and they had these high beam flashlights for spotlights. A lot of black entertainers, and then Augie Perez was an entertainer. He would do Tina Turner. He would do Tina Turner, but he would dance behind a sheet, just a white sheet, and would actually do a strip tease.
Like a shadow performance?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I'd ever seen a dildo. Because he would actually dance with it and then like deep throat and all this. And the performers would start up there, sitting down, and then slowly come down the stairs, the ladder, and then walk in between the audience. And it was okay, but then, it was my first show that I'd ever seen. So, I knew they weren't singing because the voices were way back here,
Yeah.
and the performers were with microphones dancing around us.
Now, why was it called the Orange Ogre?
I have no clue.
Oh, okay.
Well, jokingly, we used to say Carol Gustanian was the Orange Ogre.
Now, is Carol the one that had penny candy?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And if you met Carol,
I met her.
all right, when we first met her, she was huge and had short hair, curly, and was demanding.
Oh, yeah.
Would growl at everybody.
She was not known as a nice person.
No. So she had two people working the door, and I never had to deal with her until she spotted me, and then she walked over to me and she questioned me about knowing her, and then realized that I had done her sister's wedding. And once I moved to Fresno, after the Sellingers, I moved below her sister after she got married, and I rented a room.
Was Carol straight or gay? She was gay, right?
No, well, in the beginning, no.
Okay.
She was straight. Or she told us she was straight. That's how she got everybody, at that time, I think, afraid of her. And then they said that she was gay, but I never met anybody that she had gone out with or was seen on a regular basis, not even at Penny Candy.
Yeah.
So,
She terrified me.
She was
as
an ogre.
a child at Penny Candy because I was scared to death of her. So Orange Ogre is appropriate since Carol had it. So we'll go back to Orange Ogre. Did you end up performing there?
No.
No, you didn't do any drag there.
No,
So how long did you go to the Orange Ogre before? Did it close down? What happened?
No. The Orange Ogre stayed open, and when the Girl of the Golden West opened, that took a lot of people from Carol's. And then when Fran's Pine Lake Lodge opened, it split the crowd. So there was a few people staying in town because they said, it was, you could meet more people out at the other bars.
Okay.
The other bars had people coming in from San Francisco, Bakersfield, Modesto,
Right.
Visalia.
It wasn't just locals.
Right.
So when did you saw your first drag show at Orange Ogre, when did you get the idea in your head, I want to do that?
Well, I never really did.
Okay.
The Girl of the Golden West opened, and they were having a costume party.
Now tell us where that bar was.
That was on 41,
Okay.
on the way to Lemoore.
Okay.
The opening, Ogden, everybody said, let's go. So we thought, okay, cool. They all went in drag. I couldn't get in drag because I didn't have anything. I borrowed all the things, the hair and everything from Richard. So I wanted to make something. So I went as a white witch doctor with white feathers and everything. And I used, my outfit was a float material that you would put on floats
Yeah.
for feathers. Anyway, when I walked in there, I had my first drink and I had a buzz. So when they announced me as the White Owl from Ernie Kovac's commercial with
Okay.
Edie Adams, the White Owl.
Yeah.
I had no idea who she was. So I came out and did my walk, turned around and walked back out. Sat outside for the longest time so I could... I had a buzz, so I wanted to straighten up, sober up.
Okay.
So when they announced it, they said Miss Congeniality, and they announced me as Miss Congeniality. So when I won, they gave all of us a badge that would allow us to have 2 to 3 free drinks at any gay bar. So I thought, okay, cool. So what I loved about that, I didn't have to show my ID, and I could go into any bar and not get questioned.
Oh, so you just showed the coupons or the tokens or whatever?
Yeah,
they gave
it
you?
was on one of those little metal ball chains.
Chain link. Yeah, yeah.
And it was the first time I'd ever seen it wasn't embossed. It was in one of those picture frames for your wallet.
Okay.
So I kept that, and they said, as long as you have this, you're good for a year. So that's when we went to the Fran's Pine Lake Lodge, and Fran and Gail loved me.
So,
Thank God.
how much was a drink back then?
$1.75 or $2. I remember a beer was 45 cents or 75 cents. We could go in $5. We could go with $5 to $10 and have a good time.
Yeah.
It was. It didn't cost anything. Gas was 25 cents a gallon.
Right. I remember that.
That's I would use my lunch money to give to Augie to put gas in his car so I could go with him. And then during this time, Bob Benson and Jerry Stone were the owners, so they wanted to start doing drag shows.
They were the owners of Girl of the Golden West?
Girl of the Golden
Okay.
West.
All right.
And Bob Benson loved production numbers, loved everything that he did, even 25, 30 years afterwards, was a production. He was very flamboyant. He showed me what it was to put material, sequins, rhinestones, feathers together and come out glamorous. He introduced glamour to all of us. He was incredible. That's when we did production numbers and...
Because there used to be really elaborate production numbers
Yes.
in the drag world here, right?
Yes, and this is what, not to jump ahead, but this is where the Girl of the Golden West had the best shows because they were production numbers, and there was an opening, a middle, and then a closing, and then individual numbers or other production numbers in between. So those shows, they had people from San Diego, Los Angeles. We had performers come down. Greg Cotton, an incredible performer from Fresno that moved to Los Angeles and became one of the top performers there, and then would come and do guest spots. Incredible.
So tell me a little bit about, because it seems when I hear these stories about those places, the Orange Ogre, Girl of Golden West, France, it seems like there was a very lively, energetic gay community. What about the fears of being caught by either police? This was before Stonewall. Did any of that ever cross any? How did you guys deal with?
We got stopped a couple of times.
Okay. Stopped on your way in, on your way out?
On our way in.
Okay.
And the policeman, I told him that it was an initiation party for a college group. And he said, okay, he goes, you have to have one item of male's clothing. And I thought, okay, all right. So under everything, I had my Speedos.
Yeah.
And I figured, that was the only thing that I could wear, and it helped.
Was there ever a point where the police raided one of the bars and, carded you guys and asked you if you had that one piece of male clothing on? Did they ever get rough with you guys inside the bars?
At the Girl of the Golden West, they would come in once or twice, but what would come in more often was the MPs, because we had the sailors that were going to Lemoore, because Lemoore was a naval base. We had the sailors that would hitchhike going down 41. If somebody would pick them up, they'd ask, oh, you want to stop for a drink? half of them would leave the bar and continue hitchhiking. The ones that stayed started drinking, so they would end up going to the base, or there would be a carload of queens dropping them off at the base, so they started coming into the salon,
So the military police started tracking them a little bit?
Yes. So then they started coming in men's clothing, their regular clothes. So we weren't aware of who was in the service and who wasn't, who was straight and who wasn't.
Yeah.
We had a couple of incidents where guys would come out because they saw the cars, and they would come looking for girls. And one time the drag queens were rehearsing, and they wanted a dress rehearsal. All we had were wigs on and heels. No makeup, nothing else. So when they came in, they started laughing. Well, one of them approached one of the drag queens, and Jerry Wolford, he was a big guy.
I remember Jerry.
And then Barry Connors, tall,
But
thin.
Jerry Wolford was a friend of Chuck's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry came and he had a cue stick, pull stick.
Yeah.
And he looked at him and he goes, "Eddie, back up." And I said, "Oh no." I said, if they want trouble, I realized, and like Jerry said, we're men first. He goes, "Let's get that straight. We're men first." I'm in heels. Jerry's in flat heels. The guys that came in, none of the gay boys there would do anything, but when they saw us with hair and cue sticks, they backed off. They left.
Yeah.
They never came back, and if they did, we were never there. That was about the only time we ever had any trouble. And the police would come in, and they would walk around.
In uniform or in plain clothes?
In uniform.
In uniform.
And, when you've had a couple of drinks, they look good.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, I know where this is
Those
going.
uniforms are nice.
This is...
I mean, how do you know it's a real cop and not just somebody who's,
Well, that's a whole other story.